Back tonight on In Focus, the Auditor-General's recent report has cited the delayed and halted projects as the main reasons of Mpumalanga government's failure to meet its 10,000 job creation target for the last financial year. The report has further decried the increase in unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure to delays in the projects. For more on this, I'm joined now by Bosman Grobler, Mpumalanga's DA caucus leader. Bosman, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. The province has failed to reach its own target. It's not the target that was placed on it. It set this target for itself, and it missed the opportunity of dropping its already quite high unemployment rate. If you look at the rate now, 48.7% expanded unemployment rate, which includes 46.4% youthful unemployment, highest in the country, if you like. Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for missing this target?
Tabu, let me start off by just also greeting you. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, very worrying for us the fact that Mpumalanga provincial departments missed out on their own target. And if you ask me who is responsible, then it is the provincial departments. And it's not the Democratic Alliance in Mpumalanga that says that. Our mandate is to hold the executive accountable for the decisions they make, for the planning, the implementation, the budgeting and the monitoring. But the Auditor-General here says that Mpumalanga provincial departments don't plan well enough, so they don't budget enough for the infrastructure projects. And because of that, the projects are sometimes abandoned and they slow down, they have lots of delays, and that causes the unemployment and the less opportunities in these infrastructure projects. So it's only the Mpumalanga departments that's responsible for that.
Yeah. Once again, this year, same thing that would have happened last year, because last year in September, you would have raised a similar kind of concern where they would have set a target of 53,708 jobs, but only managed to create, 18,000 jobs. So last year, missing close to 38 or so thousand jobs that would have been created at the time. And it seems this thing is continuing. You engaged the Public Works, Roads, Transport MEC then around the issues. What did you sharply raise with him that they needed to do to ensure, I know he's no longer there, but to ensure that they are definitely making good on their job massification project?
Well, Tabu, let me just start off by, you said it in the beginning, it's 48.7% unemployment in the province. That's on the expanded definition. Expanded definition is people that has stopped looking for work. So literally every second person in Mpumalanga is unemployed and has lost the hope of finding a job. And that's really very, very sad for us. The next thing is the MECs are changed so quickly that I think they struggle to implement if they have the political will. But, you know, we don't even have to look at the answer. Government or governance, good governance and accountable governance is not something that you need to think of. It's not a new wheel that you need to design. You can follow a recipe. And the Auditor-General actually tells the departments what to do. It tells the MECs to take strong political leadership, to implement sustainable solutions, to have accountability, and also to have consequence management. The Auditor-General report also says that 50% of the departments in Mpumalanga don't have CFOs, so you don't have a chief financial officer that can actually make the decisions, implement them, and be accountable, and then also do consequence management to the rest of the department or the projects. The Auditor-General further goes to say that apart from proper planning and budgeting for these projects, there needs to be some kind of a management of the projects and the contractors on the projects, performance management. So this entire recipe we find in the Auditor-General's report. For us as the Democratic Alliance, we feel there should be a strong political will to implement these things, and we don't think that there's a need and a political will in Mpumalanga to do this.
So, for example, let's talk about those vacant posts, which clearly have remained open for a while. Is it because people are not applying for those posts? Is it because you're not finding qualified CFOs that can run these projects? Or there's something else that's going on?
This is going to sound like a very political answer, but I am a politician. From our point of view, from the Democratic Alliance, there's more than enough capable people that are accountable, that can do these jobs. But it's ANC internal politics that stop the appointment of capable people in CFO positions. And we often see in departments, and it's different for every department, but we often see that people they have an acting allowance, so they earn a little bit extra more money, but actually they just dance to the pipes of the ANC because they, for some or other reason, channel the funds in different directions. So we think that if there's real accountability and real consequences for the mismanagement of funds, and you can appoint somebody not on the card membership of the political party, but on their skills, this will really take a turn for the best in the province for every department.
Yeah. So where it is sitting now, the other thing that you're saying is the actual monitoring of the performance of these projects. So it seems, one, they don't budget for them properly, and two, they run out of funds, but three, they're also not clearly monitoring the outcomes of these projects.
Tabo, it's really disheartening to see how many infrastructure projects through different departments in this province get started. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony. It gets announced with great fanfare that there's going to be either a library, a hospital, a school, an agri-hub that's going to be built. And then halfway through the project, it's not finished, it's not operationalized. We don't see the end benefit for the residents of that area, whether it's a library or an agri-hub. It doesn't get into motion, and it doesn't bring the promised jobs, the promised economic development, the promised stimulation of the economy in that area. And that's really sad for us.
So what measures need to be in place here? What are the enablers, so to speak, that you think need to be in place? One, for consequence management, but two, that are required in order for the outputs to be achieved?
I think we can start off by saying there's a lack of discipline. If we look at the Auditor-General's report and you compare the 22-23 reports with the 23-24 reports, there's an increase in every one of the aspects, whether we look at fruitless and wasteful expenditure, whether we look at wasteful expenditure, or whether we look at irregular expenditure. Each one of these went up in that financial year, and that just shows us that there's no discipline. Discipline shows that there's no consequent management, and we know that that's something that we have seen in the provincial legislature of Mpumalanga, where people are just moved around instead of really having the consequences of misappropriating funds, projects not finished on time. Government is very lenient in the way that they postpone the finishing time of projects. It's okay if you spend way more funds than you planned for. So it's really a combination of, for me, a lack of discipline and a lack of really having the will to finish our projects. Because in the end, it's important for the Democratic Alliance that these projects are finished, because in the end, they will stimulate economy, create opportunities for whatever they were built in the area that they were planned.
Right, Bosman, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. Bosman Grobler, DA Mpumalanga caucus leader. This is an AG report which is dated 9th October 2024, looking at the targets that were set for the 2023-2024 financial year. We have reached out to the Mpumalanga government, and at the time of going on air, they had not really responded to us, but we'll continue to reach out to them as well to come on and respond to some of what is being raised in this report.